Hello, my name is Eric Miller. I'm the production manager for the Kauffman Center for the Performing Arts. Welcome to the future stages. Normally, I will be outside working either the large stage under the tent or even the small stage. I alternate usually back and forth on those stages. I've been out there for the last 5 years, I believe it is. In the very first year of Future Stages, I actually was a production manager in Merrill Kauffman Theater here where we are now. Today, we're going to take a look at the automated fixtures that we use here on stage. They are the high-end system Solo Frame 750 is what we're going to look at today. To control that fixture, I'm going to use the Roadhog 4, which is also from high-end systems. It is a computer-based lighting system, touch screens, and play buttons. Pretty standard for automated lighting control surface now. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at all the different attributes or all the different things that this light can do. Right now we are currently in open white and at a static position on a cyc behind us. First, we're going to go through the colors. So it has a color wheel in it, so we can just step through colors. And it also has what's called color flags. And the color flags mean you can mix the color. You can either use them to mix with the wheel, or you can use them by themselves. When you mix the colors, you can basically make any color in the world that you like. Now we've moved on to patterns that are in the fixture. These patterns are actually called gobos. I know it's an odd word for many of you probably haven't heard it before, but that's what we like to call them. So this is our first gobo. This is almost as big as it can get. I can zoom this fixture, so now it's almost as small as it can get. And here's another gobo, and we're just going to step through the rest of them so you can just see all the different patterns that it can create. Some lighting designers don't actually like these patterns that are in this fixture. You can order different gobos, and some lighting designers don't necessarily like them to be sharp like we're looking at them right now, so we can make them frosted or just a little bit out of focus, just to kind of make it a little more dreamy. So now we're looking at a gobo with the color wheel just rolling through it, so you can layer things on top of one another. Now we're going to go with the color and it's stepping instead of that nice smooth roll. It's doing a bounce or a bump. Now we're looking at our shutters. So shutters can cut off the edges of the light. It's a 4-plane shutter, meaning that all the shutters are on a different plane and they can go all the way across the light beam. So you can make a square, what is that shape called? Trapezoid. Sorry about that. So we got a triangle there. So we can use these shutters when we're on set to cut the light either off the set or do the opposite. We can have the light focused on the set and make sure it doesn't bleed off into the acting area. Okay, so now I'm going to describe why it's called a moving light. So it can pan, so it can go left, right, over 360 degrees. So that's all the way one way. And then it's going to go all the way back around, past you, and back over to there. And then it can also tilt. So all the way down. It cannot go past the 360 degrees, but it gets darn close. It's about 270 degrees of motion. Okay, for the grand finale, we'll have all the attributes running at the same time while it's moving. Although this lighting fixture is on a box on its base shooting upwards, it is much more common for lights for a show to hang over the stage and point down. We usually use 40 to 50 of these types of lights in a single production, in addition to another 150 to 250 non-moving or conventional lighting fixtures. It takes a whole crew of people to do the lights for a show. The lighting designer is responsible for setting levels, colors, and patterns from scene to scene or song to song. They are responsible for the overall look of the show. The master electrician is responsible for getting all the lights hung, powered, tested, and running for the show on time and in budget. The lighting board programmer does exactly that. They use the light board to program the lights. They usually are very good and familiar with the board they are working on, so that writing each light cue is fast and efficient as possible, which they need when you are dealing with hundreds of lights at a time. With the moving and non-moving lights, you can group them into channels and turn a bunch of them on and off at the same time, and set the same color. You don't have to do it one by one. Spotlight operators, or spot ops, run spotlights during the performance. They literally follow the lead character around the stage with a beam of light. Electricians do the actual work of hanging the lights and getting power to them. It can take anywhere from a couple of hours to a couple of days to hang and focus or point the non-moving lights where they need to be to light the stage. This depends on the size of the lighting plot and how many electricians you have. The light plot is a drawing with different symbols for the types of lights you are using. It shows where they hang and where the electricity comes from. Now let's take a look inside one of these lights. Okay, now let's take a look at the inside of one of these moving lights. As you see here, I've taken the case off of it so we can check out the inside. Down at the bottom, we've got a couple fans. Behind the fans is a big heat sink. That's to keep the LED engine cool. As you move up, we've got a bunch of motors that are all mounted to this plate, and the motors have their spindles through the metal, and you see this gear, and it runs back to this plate, which is a gobo plate. And on that gobo plate, there's another motor that can spin the actual gobo around so it can rotate. Off to the side over here is the color wheel. Above the color wheel is an effects wheel. Now the effects wheel can be used in conjunction with any of the other wheels, but what this effects wheel will do for the gobo is it can make the gobo kind of twinkle. And then as we move up, we get to the shutter plate. This is the floor plane shutter plate, so there's multiple motors all around that moves those shutters in and out of the lens beam. On up from there, we have the main lens back in the middle. This lens that you can see here, which is a frost, just to frost everything out. This lens on top is the zoom in and out. And back in the back here is a prism lens, and it can actually spin also. But the prism, once you put it into the light beam, if you have a gobo in, it looks like you get 4 or 3 gobos. Yeah, it's a 3-facet prism. So it looks like you have 3 gobos instead of just the 1. And then on the side here is a control board to control all the different motors and stuff. Oh yes, I'm sorry. We have a lens heater in the lens, at the main lens on top. Let me unlock the top here. So here's your outside lens, and this lens has a heater in it. So when we use effects, fog or haze, those chemicals can land on the lens. When we had incandescents and arc fixtures, these lenses would get hot naturally. They don't get hot naturally anymore, so we have a lens heater to burn off those chemicals that get on the lens so we don't foul up and make the gobos look all fuzzy like we'd have a frost in it already. Thanks for tuning in to learn about moving lights. Be sure to check out other demos and performances on Kauffman Center's website. Enjoy the rest of your Future Stages Festival.